Hello and welcome to Wagner's Tech Talk. Your time is valuable, and I wanted to inform you up front, rather than waiting till the end of the video, that there is a new version of the iArcade announced recently. What I'm about to show you in this video is the 1.0 cabinet, or the current model, which myself and my kids have been having a blast playing. However, that made this video challenging to create. Not because it was technically difficult to film or that the iArcade was complex. It was actually very easy to set up, and I'll walk you through it in this video, but I do want to explain a bit further. First off, the exact cabinet that I'll be showing is not currently available. At the time I recorded this, only a few select models remained, and at a slightly higher price than what I personally paid for it. Back in November and early December of 2021, iArcade had a holiday sale. I literally bought this cabinet for $323 for the bar top, the stand, and shipping off of Amazon. It was a crazy good price, and I suspected something was up because these cabinets typically sell between $600 and $800. Well, something was indeed up, and on January 4th, 2022, iArcade announced their version 2 cabinet. However, the version 2 cabinet won't be released until the spring of 2022. So, unless there are more 1.0 cabinets that are produced between now and then, they'll literally have nothing to sell until perhaps March or even longer. When asked if the 1.0 cabinets would be discontinued, the CEO of the company stated on a recent live stream that that is to be decided. That is, I have no idea if what I'm going to show you in this video is something you'll be able to pick up for yourself and your family. The new cabinet that iArcade will be releasing certainly looks nice. It's about 3 inches taller since it includes a lighted marquee, which is something missing from this cabinet. It also incorporates Harman JBL audio, which means that the sound coming from the machine should be even more immersive. However, I'm personally very pleased with the sound system in this 1.0 machine, and I'll show you a free or separate download jukebox application in a bit that is really pretty cool. It was also mentioned it will be a premium cabinet and at a premium price. How premium of a price is unknown since there's no pricing currently available for these new cabinets. So what you'll be seeing in this video is the 1.0 cabinet that was picked up during the holiday sale. It comes with all the same games that you'll later see in the 2.0 cabinet. That is, all the games that are released for the 2.0 cabinet will play on this one just as well. The internal CPU and GPU will be the same, from what I understand, and there is the possibility there may be more 1.0 cabinets showing up even prior to the release of the new cabinet, and perhaps even after. I'll place a link down below to my website where any significant new information that I find out will be added. My apology for the long intro, but I prefer to set your expectations appropriately at the beginning rather than telling you all of this at the end. And with that, let's get started. In case you want to follow along while watching this video, go to wagnerstechtalk.com, move on down to the guides, and scroll down till you see iArcade Guide. From there, you'll find a host of information about the iArcade. For example, if we move on down to the table of contents, then click on the specifications, and we'll go over a few of the more important aspects of the iArcade. First off, the display is a 19-inch 1280 by 1024 LCD panel, which is a 5:4 ratio. It has an impressive 100 watt amp and stereo speakers. The CPU is a 1.8 GHz hexa-core with an 800 MHz quad-core GPU. It has 4 GB of RAM, and the storage available depends on the model you select. I went with the 64 GB model, and after installing several games, I'm still quite a ways from running out of space. The controllers are 8-way joysticks. They work very well as the buttons. It also has Wi-Fi 5, Bluetooth 4.2, and you can use 3.5mm wired headphones with the unit. There is a connector on the front of the panel, or you can use Bluetooth. There's also an HDMI output port, which I'll be using for some of the capture footage that you'll see in this video. And finally, the OS is based on Android. At the time I purchased my machine, they were having an amazing holiday sale. The prices you see here may not reflect the current price of the machine, However, I want to show the various models that were available at the time, such as the pre-order for Toe Jam and Earl, Sydney Hunter, Black Edition bundles, Retromania Wrestling, Dragon Slayer, Beach Buggy Racing 2, Space Ace bundle, and the unit I ordered, which is the classic bundle with the stand. I ordered my unit from Amazon and it took about 10 to 12 days for it to arrive. It came in 2 boxes, one for the bar top and the other for the stand. The assembly process went very smoothly and the assembly manual was very helpful. What you're seeing here are all the components that were in the bar top box, including the control panel, display panel, speaker assembly, and other panels. One thing I was initially concerned about was the cheap simulated T-molding that was used. While the cracked area shown here was covered by the control panel, I'm not sure how well this will hold up over time, and something worth noting. If you're familiar with IKEA furniture, you've likely used these cam bolts and locks before. The majority of the assembly process uses these to secure all the panels and greatly minimizes the visible screw heads on the bar top. Only 2 are visible, one on each side of the cabinet. The speaker assembly was very impressive. It has a 100 watt amp and 2 50 watt speakers that put out some excellent sound. You can use the bar top without the stand if you prefer. These rubber feet will help protect your table or bar from scratches should you want to go that route. Finishing up the assembly is very easy. You just lock everything down with these cam locks, and this is what it looks like with most of the cabinet put together. I'll add the speaker and side panel, and we're just about done with the bar top. One thing that I want to point out is that there is only one screw head visible in this location on both sides of the cabinet. Now it's time to hook up the cables. The silver connector is for the LCD display panel. The black connector is for the amp or audio signal. Attaching the cable to the amp was just a little bit tricky. You have to then feed the white connector up through the top and attach it to the amp. Then simply plug in the power input into the far left side here. And don't forget this important bracket as it keeps the power cable from being pulled out. And if you're not going to be using the stand, at this point you're basically done. You just install the cover and the 4 screws. However, if you're going to be installing the stand, you can skip this step. The stand is shipped in only 1 box, and the assembly process is similar to that of the bar top, but a little less involved perhaps. The finish on the panels do look really nice. I was pleased with the overall construction, with the exception of the simulated T-molding, which appears to be just plastic covering along the edges. We'll go ahead and take out all the components here and go ahead and put in the hardware. Now we'll tighten down all the panels to the cam bolts and locks, and we're almost done. Next we'll screw in the feet, which aren't padded. You may want to put some felt over them if you plan on setting it up on a hardwood floor. These large screws are used to secure the bar top to the base and can be easily removed if you want to use this machine as a bar top. Next I'll simply feed the power cord down to the bottom and go ahead and close up the back panel to the bar top. There's only 4 screws for you to install. Now I'll feed the power cable through the bottom section of the stand and go ahead and install the panel here. And again, there's 4 screws to fasten the back panel to the cabinet. And let's take a brief look at it. I do have an HDMI cable being fed out the back to connect up to my video capture equipment so I can get some good gameplay footage. And the cabinet itself looks very nice. I'm very pleased with the overall aesthetic of the machine. One more thing to point out, the top of the machine is flat, so you can place your knickknacks on top. And now we'll move on to the software. When you first power on the machine, you'll be prompted to download and install the iArcade application to your cell phone. You can also use the same link on your PC, tablet, or other device to create your iArcade account. There is no Ethernet port, so you will need to connect up to your Wi-Fi network. Then, using the account credentials that you just set up, go ahead and enter your email and password, accept the license agreement, and all the applications will begin downloading. You may then be prompted to install a firmware update. Go ahead and let the update proceed, and the machine will shut down. The firmware will update, and then once updated, the machine will boot back up. There are 11 games pre-installed: Beach Buggy, Bomb Squad, Diver Boy, Double Dragon, Dragon Master, Dragon's Lair, Fancy World, Gunbird, Maniac Square, Snowboard Championship, and Twin Brats. Now I'll switch over to my video capture device and we'll go through some of the main settings. As you move the joystick left and right, the tabs or categories at the top of the screen will change and basically filter the list of games. At the far right, we have our settings tab, and I'll quickly go through some of the options there. The quick starter guide is basically a simple reference guide on some of the basic operations of the machine. Under Bluetooth, you can see what devices are paired and what devices are available to be paired to the arcade. Here I have an Echo Dot that's paired up. Under brightness, you can adjust the monitor brightness by moving the joystick left and right. I'll skip over device password, information, and login, as these options will be rarely used. However, the storage option is handy to see how much storage space you have available on the cabinet and your installed games. Time zone is handy if you need to change your time zone, Wi-Fi if you need to reconnect to the Wi-Fi network for some reason, and in attract mode, it's basically like a screensaver for your machine. After a certain amount of time has elapsed, it'll go ahead and play a video with audio. A system reset would restore your machine to the factory settings. To add new games to the system, simply go to the store.iarcade games link and you can browse the list of available games. Additionally, if you want to find out the top games, you can go to top downloads here on the left. Select that, and now you're going to see only the top downloaded games of January 2022 in this case. You can also switch to all time at the top. Clicking on a game will allow you to purchase the game. You can add it to your cart, buy it now, and there's also a video down at the bottom for each of the games if you want to check out some games that I don't show in this particular video. Since these are the top downloaded games, you will find that some of the prices are a little higher than some of the others. So they vary anywhere from, a couple of dollars up to about 30. And now it's time to play some games. All games must be purchased from the iArcade store. There is no option to sideload your own game, so I wanted to make sure you were aware of that. And the first game you'll likely see in the list is Beach Buggy Racing. One thing I really like about this machine is that you can play not only the retro arcade games, but modern games as well. This is my daughter Valerie's favorite game on the cabinet, so we'll start off with a two-player game. So only let me show the video that she wins. So let's give somebody a tomato.
No, we're actually supposed to have tomatoes today.
Good point. Oh, I just hit your box. And another box. How many boxes did you drop?
Just two.
Yeah, I hit every one of them. What was that floating? That wasn't you, was it? No, it wasn't. There I am, dead last again. Perhaps the first application you'll want to install isn't a game, but the jukebox. It's free and it works very well. Please note I will be cranking it up a bit here to demonstrate the loudness and clarity. Getting back to the included games, we'll check out Bomb Squad, which is a lot like Bomberman, and it's a game I'm not so great at. Ha, gotcha. And next we'll take a look at Double Dragon, a fun arcade game from the late 1980s. Before we start the game, I'm going to press C for settings. From here you can adjust the scan lines, and there's a whole bunch of scan line filters you can pick. I'm going to pick CRT TV horizontal, and this is what it looks like. That looks pretty good. Let's check out another one. We'll move up to the top and pick horizontal pixel. And this one looks a little bit too dark for my taste. I kind of like the other one. But there's plenty of them to try out. Not all games on the machine support leaderboards, but Dragon's Lair, released in 1983 and designed by Don Bluth, does. Press the Z button and you'll find the scores that you need to beat. Yeah, I'm not getting anywhere near any of those. Let's check out the game. I do have scan lines turned on. And before we end this video, let's take a look at a few games that I purchased and downloaded separately. Riptide GP Renegade will be the first, and it's a fun jet ski game with great graphics, and you can also play a local split screen game, which is also a lot of fun. And lastly, my son Landon and I will demonstrate a two-player game of Retromania Wrestling. Well, that brings us to the end of another video. I'm very pleased with the purchase of this iArcade cabinet. Personally, I prefer to play retro games myself, and there's certainly a lot of great titles available on iArcade, but my kids prefer to play the more modern games. And for that, this cabinet is great. It kind of blends a little bit of both generations, I guess you'd say. What do you think of the iArcade? Are you going to pass? Try to find one? Wait for the 2.0 cabinet? Or stick with what you've got? Let me know in the comments below. I enjoy reading your opinions. If you enjoyed this video, or found it helpful, please let me know by clicking the like button. If you want to catch future content, please click the subscribe. And with that, I will talk to you very soon.